This afternoon on My Market Kitchen, I am making Italy's #1 dessert. It is tiramisu. It is a pick-me-up. It's got chocolate, alcohol, coffee, all the good things. You cannot afford to miss this one. This recipe was passed down from my mum, which was passed down to her from my nonna, and her nonna before that, and her nonna before that. So I feel like this might be the original tiramisu recipe. There's a little twist to this one, and it is trying to make it as light as possible so that you can enjoy a little bit more after dinner. So there's a few steps to this, and this is where I bring my little trick into it. With my eggs, I like to whisk them separately. So we're gonna start by making a meringue. So our whites are gonna go straight into our food processor. Now you have to be really careful to not get any yolk into the whites, otherwise they won't whip properly. Then we're gonna place this on a high speed, and we wanna get it really nice and airy before we add our sugar in to create our meringue. All right, so our egg whites are nice and stiff, and you can just see that they're starting to hold their form on the whisk. So we're gonna add in a little bit of sugar now and get that meringue-like texture. All right, so you can see our meringue is nice and soft. If I just show you there, it's just holding. So it's at a nice soft peak, which is exactly where we want it. So from here, we're actually gonna set this aside. So I've just got a little clean bowl over here. We're just gonna scrape this in, and we'll come back to this later and add it into the mascarpone mix. Now, no need to wash the bowl here. We're gonna go straight back in our egg yolks. So the 3 yolks are gonna go in now, and we're gonna place some sugar in this. So we just wanna get this nice and creamy to start with, and then we're gonna add in our mascarpone. Okay. So our egg yolks are nice and creamy. You can see they've lightened in colour as well there. We're gonna add our mascarpone cheese straight into this. I like to use mascarpone, well, firstly because it's in the recipe, and God forbid I change the family recipe, but also because it's a little bit sour, so it's not too sweet, and I think it really brings a nice savoury element to this dish. So straight in we go, and we're gonna whip this until it's really nice and thick, and then fold our meringue into it. Now we're just gonna make our dunking liquid very quickly. So I've got about 500 mils here of espresso coffee, and you wanna put it into a nice wide bowl so we can dip the biscuits evenly. Now there is always some of this liquid left over, but what you can do is just add a little touch of frothy milk to it and then drink it like it's a little cheeky cappuccino. Now, I like to use masala in my tiramisu. This is something that is in Nonna's recipe and we haven't changed. So a really nice fortified Italian one, and we like to go quite heavy on that. It is called tiramisu, which does mean pick me up in Italian, and you need all the coffee and all the masala to make it like that. So what we're gonna do is place this in front of us, and this is all about assembling now. So get yourselves a really beautiful serving bowl, and we're gonna start with our biscuit layer. I like to go 2 at a time and kind of press them down and submerge them for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then squeeze out any moisture. And if nothing comes out, then we just dunk again. We really, really wanna make sure that our biscuits are nice and soaked. I do like to let mine sit in the fridge overnight, and that is gonna absorb more of that coffee and alcohol liquid anyway, so soak. Alrighty, so I'm gonna finish this 1 layer of biscuits, and then we're gonna start by adding on the mascarpone, some grated chocolate and cocoa, and then repeat that again. Our tiramisu has been setting in the fridge. We've been very patient. It's been sitting there overnight and I can just tell this is going to be perfect. If you have the patience, please let it sit in your fridge overnight. There is nothing better than letting the flavors develop. It is so much better the next day. My personal preference is just to put the whole tray in front of your friends and family and watch them devour it. But just so we can see all those layers, we better cut into it. Look at that, all the cream, the biscuits, the chocolate. That to me is a perfect tiramisu. It would be rude to not have a little taste test. It looks so good. Definitely one for your repertoire at home. The perfect entertaining dish, or for every night of the week.